Welcome back to All Things Covered with Bryant McFadden and Patrick Peterson. And now, like we promised you guys earlier in the show, we got a special guest right now joining us. J.R. Smith, man, first round pick in 2004, 16-year NBA vet, sixth man of the year in 2013, and now a two-time NBA champion. Mr. Swish, man, thank you for joining us here on All Things Covered. First and foremost, bro, if I had a brim on, if I had a hat on, I tip it to you because the fans know me and Pat P. We love the Lakers, man, and you just brought home a championship for all of us. I ain't played one quarter with y'all boys. I feel like I played, and I like to tip my brim to you if I had one on, man. So it's an honor having you here with us. All Things Covered, man.
Yes, sir.
First question for you. How does it feel to be a two-time NBA champion, man? What's that feeling like for you, especially when you look at the road that you had to go through?
Oh man, it's like it's fulfilling for me because it's totally different. Like for me, it was I was playing more on the first one, and I feel like I had a very important role on the game. And then being into this situation and going through the playoffs and not really playing and trying to find my niche as a leader, as a veteran, and trying to help the younger guys out, and more of a coaching aspect of it. It was one of the hardest things I've really ever had to do because I'm really sitting there watching from the sidelines and trying to put guys yelling for guys to be in the right position, and it was a lot of nerve wracking. So this one is almost as good as the first one. So this two-time thing is feeling pretty good.
Yeah, and I know definitely what you've been in that veteran role. I know that's something that you definitely take to heart as well. So speaking of that role, how did you approach your role with this team? You know, when they picked you up as a free agent.
For me, it was like no matter what they give, whatever, no matter what they throw at me, I'm accept it and try to be a master in that role. When they, I knew I wasn't going to come in and play 25 minutes a game and stuff like that because I haven't played in over a year or something. And they already pretty much had the core of their team of the Lakers anyway. I keep saying I'm a part of. But the Lakers pretty much had their core team set already. So I knew it wasn't going to be a situation where I was going to come in and play a lot. But more than anything for me, I feel like I left the game before my little hiatus with Cleveland on like a kind of a bad note. For me, if anything, you hear people always want to say they want to go out a champion, and for me, I never wanted to walk away from the game as somebody who got waived. For one, I never wanted that on my resume for somebody who got waived, but then for it to happen and for that be potentially a retirement after that or whatever, I never set well with me. So my whole motivation to get back was to be in a situation to where I could win a championship. So when I got in that position, no matter what role they threw at me, that was my main focus, just to win the chip and put guys in position.
And speaking of roles,
and also JR, real quick, for the guys that don't, for the outsiders that don't really know about the locker room, can you just give a little insight on how much you missed the locker room? Because I know that's probably one of the things you missed, but just being around the guys, listening to those conversations.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's a professional athlete's the life we live and what we go through and on a day in and day out basis is very, especially if you in that exact sport. Obviously, me and you talk a lot, but about how our games correlate, but when you on the same schedules and you literally going through the same patterns and stuff like that, whether it be being traded or whatnot, when you get into that locker room, that's your safe haven. That's what you banking on. That's what you need.
Right.
That's where you feel. What I'm saying? That's where you feel, if anything, anywhere you really can be you, because everybody pretty much has been in the same situation, is going through the same thing. So when you look at for me, when I was looking at one of my teammates and stuff like that, it's a reflection of myself in a different life. You know what I'm saying? And so I always try to look at it like that. That's why I always for me, I always cherish. I think throughout my whole career, it's only one teammate I really don't like, and he know that, and everybody else I've been cool with. So, you know what I'm saying? So
who that teammate is?
Man, this dude, Sam Decker, dog. I can't. This dude, he did some bullshit on the bus one day, talking some Trump shit, and I just wasn't having it, dog.
And you
Not even
still
Trump.
feel some type of way.
Yeah, for sure, because it's for what the question he asked, it was like it's a thought pattern. You know what I'm saying? You were taught that it's not like it's the hate you give. I feel like that's something you're taught. It's not
Right.
the privilege he has was taught to him, and he took heed of it and ran with it even further than somebody who's oblivious to what they have and what they with the life they've lived. Because some people just go through their life not necessarily knowing, but not aware and privy to somebody else's circumstances. He's a person
Right.
who's very aware of somebody else's circumstances and want to keep them there, opposed to try to help them elevate up. And I don't respect anything about that.
Yeah.
Okay, well said, well said. I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
a lot of people have been saying this is not the championship you guys just won was not a real championship because of the situation, because of the atmosphere. Um, Most of those naysayers have never won a championship on any level. And you recently had a message on Instagram, right? And basically going at the haters. What prompt that message?
I see a lot of people who quote unquote say you didn't earn it. And that for me more than anything, I feel like I earned everything I've ever got. I feel like I've put my blood, sweat, and tears to my craft and to every opportunity that was presented to me. Regardless of at the end of the day, regardless of who can quote unquote whether you feel like vouch for you or whatever, you still have to walk through that door and put that work in to where you got to stay there. You know what I'm saying? And it's not it's like to I refer to like Pat when Pat gave the okay for somebody like a Tyron. So for somebody to take a chance on him, when he took a chance on him, when he walked through that door, he showed his ass, and now he is who he is. He's Super
Yeah.
Bowl champ, Pro Bowler, and everything else. So if he didn't do that, then the people would go in the Pat like, bro, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your judgment was off on that. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
they can't do that unless you go out there and show your ass. So for
Right.
me, every time feel like for people who feel like they've got given me a second chance or opportunity from, whether it be from another player or because I'm friends with somebody with this person or that person. No, whether that happened or not, when I got there, I showed my ass to stay there. So
Right.
that's where it was realistically coming from. Because for me, I've been fortunate and I've been blessed to play with great players. For a lot of people, they look at my career as a you know to me as a joke. And for me, that's something I take personal. I put a lot of pride and
Right.
hard work into my craft. You know what I'm saying? It's something when people talk about me and they talk about my name, my kids gonna hear about that growing up. Their kids gonna hear about that growing up. And then at the end of the day, they're gonna know that he worked his ass off no matter what nobody else can say.
Right.
Hey, real quick, what my good uncle our uncle used to tell me all the time, Pat, Uncle Roger, most of the time
Oh yeah.
he always giving me some words of wisdom. JR, my Uncle Roger used to always tell me anybody can make the Pro Bowl or the All-Star game from the couch. Anybody can make it from the couch. But let me see you go out there on the court and make the All-Star, make the Pro Bowl team, man, because a lot of people say whatever they want to say when they're on the couch when they ain't got that pressure and them lights on them. Them lights
Right.
get bright. That sweat come down a little differently on your face.
For
Yes,
sure,
sir.
You feel me? So
for
man, you
sure.
keep doing what you're doing, man. You keep
Nah,
doing
man,
what
Absolutely,
you're
you
doing.
definitely, and I see the work and the grind that you put in the off season for sure. But first of all, I'm definitely surprised that you got your shirt on right now, JR. That you probably was going to come on here without your shirt. But talking about shirtless, how much did you influence Alex and Kuzma to be shirtless?
Yeah, them boys had no shirt on.
Man, it's crazy. It was a lot, but it's not even so much that I said anything to them. It's just that they've been waiting for so long. I don't know what people have been telling them or what the myth or the legend is all about. But I got to start reading some of the folk tales. But they were just so inspired by it, man. But it was so cool because you really get to see the impression you leave on the youth. You know what I'm saying? Especially not even like you for us, we always think about the youth. We think about the 9, 10-year-olds, people our kids'
Right.
age and stuff like that. But at the same time, the youth is people 10, 10, 12 years behind you just as well. These guys are 22, 23, 24, 25 years old who've been seeing my career and still look up to me. So that influence on them is just as important as the youngsters.
Man.
Hey man, did y'all really leave Quinn Cook behind?
Yeah, it was 2 buses. Look, so this is how it happened, right? So me and Cheese, me, Cheese, and Q, we always ride back together on the first bus after every game. From the first game of the bubble to the chip, we always was on the first bus. And it just so happened that we was walking out, and AD wanted to take a picture with Q with the trophy. So he went over there, started taking pictures, and Dion got impatient, man, and we slowly crept it.
Champ Cheese was ready to go.
Yeah, Cheese was ready to. My man Champ was ready to go, man. Everybody know Champ when he on his time, he on his time.
Right.
Hey, that no question. That's a funny story. The togetherness, but y'all left one of the fallen soldiers behind. And,
man,
speaking of this group being so together, man, I think a lot of that has to do with the leadership of LeBron. Regardless of the whole GOAT conversation, with LeBron winning his 4th ring, man. Tell us a little bit about what makes LeBron so special on the floor and also on the sideline with his leadership skills.
I mean, more than anything, I think what people always talk about his attributes, whether he can, either as a player or as as a teammate. Is I think his biggest one to me is to be able to bring everybody together consistently. And that's hard to do because to take on a lot of people's energy or to even try to impose your will or impose your energy on 15, 16, 17 dudes who are millionaires and got their own agendas and got their own, goals that they're trying to reach, whether it be personal or as a player. It's hard. That's hard to do, man. And as well as coaches and general managers too.
Yeah.
So when you're a player like that and that stature, it's a lot of. For me, I think he's just amazing at being who he is at bringing people together. I mean, I've never seen organizations where general managers literally having conversations with every single person on the team. You know what I'm saying? Not just the first 2 dudes, the first 3 dudes. He talking to the 16th man on the bench. He talking to the 5th dudes coming off the bench. It's like, you know what I'm saying? For his, you could tell that he has a lot to do with that because he's all about encouraging people around him and putting not only encouraging but encouraging them to put the work in to do that. You know what I'm saying? So when you see somebody like that at that level working every single day and consistently, it's contagious. He just brings so many people with him. I think that's his best attribute by far. I mean, if you look at anybody as far as a professional, whether they're on and off the court, to pull people together, I think he's the best at it because from people from his circle, from his teammates to coaches, everything he touches is gold.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so with so after the game, you obviously you was on the court with him, and by him talking about, Jeannie Buss wanted her respect, GM wanted his respect, and he wanted his respect with the accolades and the career that he had and his that he's having up until this point, 17 years in, and still going strong as ever. Why do you feel that he had to say that?
Just because I think like so many for so long, it's been 17 years. So many people just counting on his downfall. Just so many people just waiting for him to be either knocked off his throne or waiting for him to see him lose a step or so much. And it's just given so many times. Even if you think of the accolades, like consistently, he could win MVP every single
year. Right.
But when they go up there to talk about the conversations, he's always the 3rd guy. It's always it's either Giannis or James or Russ or James or this person and that person. And then, you can always throw LeBron in there. Look at his numbers. And it's like you get so people people get so bored with saying greatness is disrespectful to an extent. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, how can you consistently say this, like he's not the best? How can you say he's the best player in the world and not give this man MVP?
Right.
He's the best. Like I've never understood
Good
that.
point. Good point.
He can go to any team and not only make the playoffs, make a championship run.
Yeah.
Right.
Heck, I think LeBron could probably make a championship run with me and Pat.
Right.
Seriously. I mean, it's ridiculous though. Like I just don't get it. I don't understand it. Like you tell somebody the best player in the world, and then when you get to the votes, you only get what 7 out of 100 or some votes. Like, how is that possible?
Right. How many more years you think you got left in the tank? Who knows though? LeBron got to be drinking out the fountain of youth or something, man.
You know what? He can play. Honestly, I think he could play as long as he wanted to, because he has the. I've never seen nobody with the ability to consistently just stay on himself like that. Like he doesn't stop. I don't think he ever will. Like he just is just so indebted into who he is. Like his workout routine, regimen, and it's like clockwork. All he got to do is wake up, and just flows into a routine. Whether it's he got a 24/7 chef, we got everything he needs at his disposal. So all you got to do is just go through the motions of it.
Hey, the man living like a king, right? He living like a
no, seriously. Like you got to think like he spends over $2 million on his body.
Right.
Wow.
Like a year, like yearly,
that's
just
nice
on
ticket.
your body.
That's a nice ticket.
Like, so you can imagine he not eating no. I don't know what else to do.
You say 2 M's for his body? It's
just on his body.
It's paying off. It's paying off.
It pays off, but you got to invest in yourself. He always told me that though. He always said that if you don't invest in yourself, whether it be investing in a trainer, whether you know what I mean. This guy's a shooting guru. If that's what he charges, then that's what you got to do to invest in yourself. Because if you can't hit those shots, you ain't gonna be around here long enough to worry about it anyway.
Yeah. Hey, we're talking about LeBron's greatness. Your former teammate Kyrie Irving, LeBron and your former teammate had a few things to say a few weeks ago, basically commenting on his current teammate and Kevin Durant. Basically said something he finally has a guy that can make that clutch basket right towards the end of the ball game. Do you think that was a personal slight at LeBron James, and if so, why?
At first, I didn't. I'm gonna be honest with you, because I actually liked the post when I first seen it. Because when he was saying it, I was thinking of the lines of the creativity in which he scores at. Because when I think about scores, or to me, honestly, the 2 best scorers I've ever seen was Kyrie and KD. There's nothing that they realistically can't do.
Yeah.
So when he was saying it, that's what I thought he was saying, taking it as. But then when, people gave me a little digger deeper of the shovel, I was like, oh, okay, maybe that was a jab. You know what I'm saying? But I don't knowing Kyrie, he's a very complex individual. So I don't know I can't say it was a jab or it wasn't, but at some point we gotta stop trying to pick, like just pick at shit.
Yeah.
Like we just be picking at stuff sometimes. Like, don't get me wrong, it could have been worded better. He could have either said it better, but at some point we just gotta stop picking at stuff.
I agree with you, because I thought it was a slight of no reason to even come out and say that, you know what I mean? Because people can take it a whole nother way. But like you said,
100%.
Kyrie is complex, and sometimes complex individuals give complex statements. Speaking of Kyrie,
the world is flat.
Yeah, he said the world is flat. I'm still trying to figure that one out, but man, I ain't got enough brain cells to really think on that one. Speaking of Kyrie and that Cleveland championship team, JR, 2016 Cavaliers versus the 2020 Lakers in a 7-game series. Who wins and why?
And there's no disrespect to nobody, but I just think, for me, the size that the Lakers have, we just didn't have as as Cleveland. I think Cleveland we were more grittier. We played I think a little harder. We were much nastier defensively. But the size with the Lakers team is just with AD and Dwight and being able to go back and forth with changing the lineups with Keith. We weren't that versatile as we could play multiple different ways in Cleveland. I mean, in with LA, but in Cleveland we only had to play one way.
Yeah.
It's not like with Bron, like with Kai. If you double Kai at the top of the floor or whatever, it's just like it's hard to. Not that he won't get 30, but it's an easier 30 for Anthony Davis when he's 8, 9, 10, 15 feet away from the basket. You know what I'm saying? And on top of he's giving you 12, 13 rebounds, block shots, is a presence, arguably defensive player of the year. So it's no disrespect to Kev, but it's just I don't know. For me, with the size, I just think the Lakers team is just too big.
Yeah. In your opinion, who was the best six man ever?
Best six man ever? I'm going back and forth between Lou Will and Jamal. I think Lou Will got I think Lou Will got it though. Lou Will's just that fire.
Lou Will is actually a starter though. Yeah, he can definitely go on any team and start for sure.
Yeah. He could definitely go to any team and start, but I think that's just his role and who he is.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he adapted to his role and definitely.
I think he like it though. That's the funny part. Is a lot of people don't like coming off the bench. Like even when I was coming off the bench, when I won 6 man of the year, I didn't want to come off the bench. I was like, man, I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm ready to start. Like I'm about to be an all-star. All this.
Right.
You know, Mike Wilson sat me down. He was like, look, man, we need you to put what's best for the team. And you can still come out there and average 18, 20, whatever, and you can still possibly make the All-Star game from the bench. You could look at it this way, you could be the first person to make it that came off the bench. I was like, I took that and flipped it. I was like, oh, all right, bet, and looked at it like that. But a lot of dudes don't want to come off the bench because they look at so many guys look at it because if you get stuck and they were smart with me earlier because when you get stuck behind in that 6 man role, they're gonna pay you 6 man money. Yeah. You could be, a starting 2 guard talent and get paid 6 man money, and then they'll play somebody else who got lesser talent and give them more money. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know how the game goes. So it's just like when you get caught up in that, when you start looking at it from that perspective, then you trying to play and you got, you just being the hooper at that time. But it's just it's hard. That shit is hard for sure.
Yeah.
Man, do you think the Lakers going to be able to give Anthony Davis what he's looking for so he can stay in that Laker uniform for years to come?
I mean, they got to.
They
got. I don't see how you don't. Honestly,
right.
I mean, first year he got there, he got a chip. So
yeah. You gotta keep that around.
I don't know how many people in the Laker uniform did that. The first year they got there with a major impact, won a ring.
Yeah,
I think Shaq. I don't even think Shaq did it.
Shaq didn't do it.
Shaq first year, 2000. Was it Shaq first year in the LA 2000?
I think it was 99.
99. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the first year he was there, I think they were playing in the Forum still.
Yeah.
They weren't in Staples Center. As a matter of fact, man, JL, you missed winning the championship in Staples Center, man. Imagine what that'd look like.
Oh man,
you gotta go back to back.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you got to go back to back. Me and Pat gonna come out there when y'all go back to back, man. We're gonna be out there in the Staples Center.
Listen, man. Hand God gonna have to come out.
Hey, Pat, we gotta make sure our abs right, because them boys liable to take their shirts off.
Hey, man, my shirt coming off too.
For sure. Hey, Pat got it, man. Y'all know y'all DBs got it, man.
Yes, sir.
You already know.
I'll be over there looking crazy. I'll be having to put my shirt back on saying, y'all, man.
Hey, you know what, though, JR? Speaking of DBs, a lot of people don't know this. You weren't just a ball on the court. Man, you also had some game on the gridiron, and you committed to UNC coming out of high school. And I want to talk about that real quick before we jump to the gridiron. But do you ever, go back and think back like, well, what if I'd have went to UNC that 1 year and then jumped to the league? How would that experience would have been for you? And also, too, that recruiting class, do you remember who UNC signed?
Yeah. Well, for me, it was more of like I didn't. I wanted to pretty much follow the Jordan motto and
Mm-hmm.
go to Carolina and be a part of that history, whatever. But more than anything, I wanted to get to the league as fast as I could. So once my football dreams, my pops kind of killed my football dreams. I ain't gonna. I keep telling he keep telling me stop telling everybody that, but he did. But he once my pops killed my football dreams, it was really like, all right, if I'm gonna do basketball, then I'm trying to get there ASAP. I ain't
Yeah.
even trying to go to college. I ain't trying to deal with none of this. I was just trying to, because my only reason for going to college at the time was because I had to get my grades and shit together. So my only reason for doing all of that and taking extra classes and all that, so I could play college football. Because my cousin was just going to Miami and all that. So that's the only reason why I was trying to, trying to do extra. Because once I told me about basketball, I was like, all right, well, I can do that easy. You know what I mean? That's just what I grew up doing. That's all I know better than anything. So yeah, once he deflated that, Carolina would kind of dwindled more and more, and especially after that McDonald's game, I was just like, man, the hell with it. I'm out. Everybody kept talking about, man, you can get drafted first round for sure. I was just like, oh yeah, I'm gone.
Yeah.
Right.
And on that Carolina team, who? Because
Oh
they
yeah,
won a national championship that year, right?
yeah. Marvin Williams was it was gonna be me, Marvin Williams. One of the reasons why I didn't go because Roy Williams, Sean Livingston went on my visit at the same time. Me, Sean Livingston, Dwight Howard, Marvin Williams, we all go to Carolina on our visit at the same time. So I'm like, all right, cool. Sean's about to sign. I'm gonna sign. We got Dwight. Well, he going to the league for sure. This is when me and Sean didn't really know at the time, and Roy Williams he told Sean Livingston he couldn't wait for his commitment because Sean promised Coach K he was gonna take a visit. He
Oh,
promised Duke he would take a visit, and Roy Williams was like, "Man, I can't wait that. I can't wait on you. I got a guy ready to commit." And he took the other dude commitment. So I was seeing that. I was like, "Oh man,
that
nah,
made
this
you feel some type of
ain't
way.
looking right." Yeah, that made me feel some type of way. I was like, we just came in together. We had all this talk and everything else. I'm like,
Right.
oh nah, y'all starting
You
too early for
can't be a
me.
part of that.
Yeah, y'all starting too early for me. And then after that, it was the
Yeah.
McDonald's game, so it happened like literally simultaneously. And I was just like, oh yeah, I'm gone.
Man, that's awesome, man. But Gerald, before we let you go, we got a couple more questions for you, champ, man.
Yeah.
Who's the best golfer in the NBA that's not named Steph Curry?
Right now, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna wear that hat. I'm gonna wear the best hat. I'm gonna wear that hat of the best golfer, not named Steph Curry in the
You the
NBA.
best
I got
golfer?
it.
Yeah, not
You
named
bet.
And
Steph
I play
Curry
and I play with
in the
Gerald.
league.
I played
Yeah,
with Gerald a couple of times. Gerald do have game. I can
JR, you got
definitely
you got you got
I can sign up on that one.
JR, you better than Pat?
nah, I'm not better than Pat. I ain't gonna lie to you.
You ain't better than Lil
I ain't
Tiger?
gonna set myself up. Oh, he got it.
Hey,
He
I got it.
got
We
it.
had the little NBA versus NFL thing, little match
Yeah.
play. You know, we had a good time though, man.
Every time I see Pat, I'm like, Pat, what's your index, man? One. I just got the scratch. You know what I mean? I plus one. I was, God damn, Pat, what you doing, bro? Pat be in the Bahamas playing all the time. He getting real live tour lessons and all that.
Man, hey
He out
JR,
there in
man,
Arizona. He
man,
got PXG hooking him up. Like he got the plug, man.
man,
I'm out here in
he got
Jersey.
a
It's
whole tee
cold.
off
It's
thing at the
40
crib.
degrees out here. That's what I'm saying. It's 30 degrees out here, snowing. I ain't got none of that, dog.
Hey, so JR, we're gonna switch to the superlative part of our show. And this is where we hit you with rapid questions. You got to give us the first answer that comes to mind. You've been in a lot of pressure situations before, so this kitchen shouldn't be that hot for you. So the first question coming from me: favorite nickname of yours?
Swish.
Swish.
Yeah.
Best
Easy.
team you played on or didn't win the title?
What was that? 2009 Denver Nuggets.
Okay. Which one was a harder title to win, 2016 or 2020?
2016, for sure.
The most influential hooper of all time.
Um, Most influential hooper of all time. Bra.
Okay.
I like it.
Best shooter you ever played with?
Kyle Korver.
I like Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle.
Kyle got a cannon.
Toughest coach to ever coach you?
Byron Scott. He used to have just practices, used to be like training camp, dog. Everyone. For real.
Best player you played with not named LeBron James?
Melo.
Yeah, no doubt. Speaking of Melo, real quick, I saw the Nuggets came out with like their all-time team or something like that, and they left Melo off. Did you see that?
Yeah, I seen that. It was
an all-time social graphic, and Carmelo wasn't on it.
Yeah, I did see
all-time team social graphic.
That's funny, man. They're so bitter, man. Professional sports teams are so bitter. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Why they keep disrespecting Melo? Like, what's the situation with that? Because clearly, from the outside looking in, it didn't look like it was warranted. But what's going on with that situation?
Honestly, I don't know. It's been so long from a standpoint for Denver anyway, but to even say something like that or not do something like that. But I don't understand why they keep coming at Melo. I think it's just because he's a very different individual. He actually he's very conscious in who he is and where he comes from and what he stands for and what he tries to do. And when people see that, I think it's kind of intimidating for a lot of people, especially if you don't have the same beliefs or thoughts that the other person has. So it's easy to try and cast that person out, especially when you got more of people. If you're more of a like-minded thinker like everybody else who's on the path of trying to do the same thing. For him, he's more of an individual. He's very, like I said, he's very conscious. He's very into a lot of things. Like he tried to get me. I can't do it, but he keeps trying to get me to go to Africa and do the safari thing, and it's just like I ain't with it, bro. Like tigers and all that, just brushing up. He got videos and footages and stuff. Like he into meditations and shit like that too, which is cool. He put me on game with a lot of stuff, but when he started trying to get me to go to Africa for these safari rides, I ain't with it.
Yeah.
It ain't happening.
All right, JR, my last one before we let you go. Your favorite, I know you're a shoe guy, your favorite pair of Kobe Bryant's.
The Grinches. For
Mine
sure.
too.
Hold on.
That was 2014 Christmas, I think.
14.
Maybe 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, those my favorite too.
That was against Miami, right?
Yep, against Miami. Yeah. They had in LA with the white jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Crazy.
Well, JR, man, I appreciate you coming on with
Pat P, y'all hold on real quick.
Pat P. With my cousin. Oh, you pulled them out.
I pulled the Grinches out.
There
I'm always ready when somebody say something about Kobe. I'm always ready. So you know me, if you won't call out a whole nothing. Now, see, I ain't gonna go back and forth with you, JR, because you're an NBA player, so I know your kicks got to be unlimited. But when you talk about something Kobe related, hello.
Yeah, them Jones tough.
These man, listen, man. Moving. These are the best ones ever.
No doubt.
For sure.
No question.
No doubt, man. Well, with that being said, Gerald, man, we appreciate you coming on all things covered. All love, baby. Off season for you. My off season will be here before you know it. We're gonna get on that course in the off season for sure, big dog.
No question. Enjoy the championship ride, man.
All right, baby.
Appreciate y'all.